Okay, and I am back with another May I Scraplift You, and today we are celebrating Kiki Halbert's 500 Subbie milestone. It is also Wood Grain Wednesday, so I chose one of her layouts that had a wood grain that was kind of sort of, I almost missed it actually, but it was outdoor photos, and the more I looked at it, the more I saw the wood grain in the background. So for mine, I am going to do kind of sort of hidden wood grain as well by adding these wood grain thickers that are called cedar, as well as some wood grain alphas. These are flat alphas from Simple Stories. They're the Color Vibe, and they're all different shades of wood grain. But inside all of these bits and pieces by Simple Stories, the Simple Vintage Great Escape, are also some wood grain elements as well. Now, I have a couple mining photos again for you guys, a stencil that I would like to use, some of these chipboard stickers that also have really cool wood grain elements too, and these this sticker sheet that kind of gets put off to the side quite a bit. I have 3 pieces of paper. Basically, 2 of them are identical to the ones that Kiki uses in her layout. I don't remember exactly what the names of them are, but I have this green piece that's got a 3x4 cut apart on the other side. Then this plaid that has a 6x4 cut apart on the other side. And then I picked this almost pre-mixed media sheet. Now, I don't have a stencil that was wood grain. Shocker, I know. I only have embossing folders and stamps and everything else wood grain, but no stencil. That is just beyond unbelievable. So this was the next best thing, and I plan on using this Heidi Swapp gold paste. I don't know, gold glaze, or I have no idea what it's called. But yeah, I absolutely love how it goes through the stencil, but it's also subtle enough to where it's not in your face, kind of like Kiki's layout. Her wood grain, like I said, I had to kind of sort of look for it before I found it. So that is where I got my idea for Wood Grain Wednesday today. I know, am I stretching it a little bit? Possibly, but I kind of wanted to go off of, you know, Kiki's hidden wood grain, basically, is where I was going with that. Yeah, I know. I'm making stuff up as I go along. It's what I do, you guys. So I'm going to finish putting my mixed media through the stencil, and then I'm going to set this off to dry. Now, because I use very little, it doesn't take a whole lot to dry at all. It dried by the time I got done cutting my photos and all my photo mats as well. So I'm just going to take a hot minute and cut off the branding strips of these pieces. Now, I don't save every single branding strip. I only save them if they, what's the word? If there's something usable on the backs. That's the only reason why I save them. So I'm realizing now that it's going to be a little difficult for me to cut my photos down any smaller than a 6x4. It's the background that actually makes up the photo. We have open mine shafts all throughout Nevada, and these are 2 pictures of open mine shafts. Well, they're shafts rather than holes. They're not open pits. They're open shafts, which means that it was blown in to the side of a mountain, and they went in through the mountain and then dug their way down to the gold through the shaft. And so these are 2 open mines, as well as the other picture, that's the one on the left, is where the rail cars, it's barely covered up. You can barely see it. We left it exactly the way that we saw it, or that we found it. But you can definitely tell that there was rail tracks for the mining carts to be pushed back and forth into these shafts. So it's kind of cool. But like I said, you have to look for them. Like one of them is completely obvious because it has an actual like wood structure going around it and trying to support the tunnel into the mine, where the other one is more of just a rock slide. But if you know what you're looking for, you can tell that it used to be a mine shaft for sure. Like I said, this is as close as we get. The one with the wood structure around it is actually a zoomed in photo because we don't go near these. They're actually, most of them are bordered off, but not all of them, because of the fact that there were so many back in the day that it's kind of hard to tell where a shaft was and where it wasn't. Some people dug for gold illegally. And so they basically, if they saw gold on the ground, then they were going to dig a hole. I'm probably exaggerating because the gold probably wasn't that big of a deal, but it could have been a copper cave. It could have been a silver cave. It could have been any one of the precious metals or stones that are within Nevada. So who knows what these ones were? I don't. It's just things that we find on the hikes that we go on in our area. So anyways, history lesson is over. Back to the layout. I have matted my photos the entire time I squawked about mining shafts. My mixed media is dry. My photos are matted, and now I'm gluing them down. Now I'm only using my tear and tape on the mixed media side. I'm not too worried about using just my double-sided tape and wasting tear and tape on the regular paper side. It's not a big deal. And then I decided, for interest, because I thought this layout was going to be pretty flat, I decided to pop up one of the photos, which is the one that kind of sort of just looks like dirt. You can't really tell that it is a mine shaft at all, but I popped it up because that's where my title is going to go, and it's also on foam. So I figured, why not? It'll be a top-heavy layout. Yep. But I'm also going to build quite a big cluster down at the bottom. Now I opened up my my die cut pack, and I went ahead and I sifted through it and picked out all the elements that I wanted. And then I realized that my chipboard pack was basically falling out anyways. So I took a few minutes and popped all of them out. So then that way I just had loose chipboard. I'm not going to fiddle fart with something like that. It drives me nuts where chipboard falls off out of its packaging. And then I had to realize, halfway through the recording that it's sticky backed. Well, that's just weird. It fell out, but the sticky back fell out as well. Does that make sense? The paper backing, the protective paper backing for the sticky back. Whew, spit it out, girlfriend. So yeah, that was convenient because now I don't have a whole bunch of half sticky chipboard pieces. All the backing fell out with it. So anyways, I just put down my subtitle, and then I have this really cool butterfly leaf piece. I don't know what that's called, but I thought it was really cool because it fills in the gap for my title as well, and centers the word abandoned over my subtitle, which I think is pretty cool. I did a little design off on the left. So by now, I've pretty much realized that I messed up on Kiki's layout. She has 3 or 4 different pieces ripped off on the left or on the right hand side. And I had full intention of doing that and totally spaced that I was going to do that. I did the mixed media and totally forgot that I was going to rip up a couple pieces of layering scraps and put on the side. So then that way I could tuck a whole bunch of things. So I just, by now I'm done, kind of sort of, I took what I wanted from her layout and now I'm just doing my own little thing. So I'm going to put a cluster down on the bottom of this photo in the bottom right. Clearly, that's what you guys can see me do. I finished off my title. It just says abandoned, stay out. And then, of course, I've got a bunch of words going on. I've got a word on the upper right photo. I've got that word or the saying that's in the floral printed cluster. And then I've got lots of words down in the other cluster, down in, on the bottom of the layout. Yep. Let's just call it that. I went ahead and I put mushrooms on this layout, because we don't have mushrooms, but they're cute and adorable and they brought color to the layout. This layout was looking a little green. green around the collar. Anyways, it was looking a little green, and so I thought that by adding the mushrooms, it would add a lot of color into the layout that it was kind of sort of missing. Well, with these types of photos, there's not a lot of color anyways. I mean, that's our landscape right there, you guys. It's dirt and dusty green. It's not very pretty. What we find in our landscape is amazing and interesting and definitely has a story, but it's not pretty. So how do you make it pretty? You add mushrooms and other pretty things. So to bring the red from the mushroom up to the rest of the layout, I found these enamel dots that matched the Find Your Way ticket perfectly. And so I did find some, that's the ones I just put away, they matched the mushrooms perfectly, but I couldn't find a spot where I wanted them. I don't like just throwing enamel dots all over the place. They have to have a place to rest. And so I couldn't find one, so I didn't use any. Added some chipboard hearts that are also wood grain. And that is pretty much it. I do add some more hearts that are just the cardstock hearts. They're there in the final still photos. And that's it. Here I is. Thank you so much for watching as I trip over my words again. Please be sure to check out everyone else that is helping Kiki celebrate this amazing milestone, as well as everyone else that is playing along with May I Scraplift You. All right, I'll check you all tomorrow. Bye.